The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storylines with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It's Cowboys Storyline, and I've got Darren Woodson again.
Yes.
Woody Wednesday.
Yeah, Woody Wednesday. We can call it that. Yeah,
okay,
sounds
that
good.
Means,
I like
means,
it.
Means
I
you
like
have
it.
to,
Got a little ring to it.
That means you have to come here more than a couple times, which is great. So busy, flying around all the time. I swear you could still play football if you wanted to. Like, if you really wanted to, you could.
There is no way. And you would talk so much trash about me if I got on that field.
Never.
I'm serious. No, yes, you would. Yes, you would. You, Chris, everyone.
No.
Be bashing me.
The safeties that they have on this team now, it would maybe be tougher. But back in the day, like even 4 or 5 years ago,
there was
a time where are you sure?
I couldn't keep up with these young boys
like,
now.
There's probably times where you were watching going, I think I can.
I got a shot.
Well, it's Cowboys and 49ers week.
Good week.
Good week,
Good
right?
week, man.
It always has been.
And it's the week. Look, every player within the Cowboys organization circled this week. When the schedules came out,
I know.
It used to be the same way. It was the same way with us back in the day. Sometimes you overlook other games thinking, okay, wait, those are winnable games. And I'm telling you, you get the schedule, you look at every game and go, that's a winnable game, that's a winnable game. Ooh, that one's going to be tough. That's going to be a tight one. And there's going to be a ton of notoriety around this big game. And it's a makeup game for the Cowboys.
So
it's a get-back game.
Did you guys have some Arizona games back in the day?
Absolutely. I can't remember what week it was. It was in '92 was the Super Bowl championship year. I think we went 13-3 that year, and the Rams came in town, and they were terrible. And I can't tell you how bad. I mean, that game was a close game, but the unexpected was they stayed. They kept on the ball, just kept rolling their way for 4 straight quarters, and they ended up winning that game, man. And it was a tough one. It was a tough loss for us.
I remember my dad got me tickets to that game. It was like, yes, Rams, and then a guy named Cleveland Gary.
Cleveland had a day. Dude had a day.
That was, and every Super Bowl year kind of had that had a game like that. Now, most time later in the year, but all right, we only got you for a few minutes. Callers, they love talking to you, so we're going to go right to it here. You know how it works. Let's go. Albert in Tucson, Arizona. Albert, what's up, man? You're on with Darren Woodson.
Good morning, Mr. Woodson. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Just 2 things. Well, first off, I just wanted to say thank you to Nick because you were the voice of reason last week. I was down on my Cowboys, and you described how the emotional roller coaster of being a Cowboys fan, right?
Six Flags has nothing on this team.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And it put everything in perspective for me. I have the tattoo on my arm.
Nice.
And that's why I love my team. And I just wanted to say thank you for putting me in my place and making me,
Albert, you're giving them way too much credit, man.
All right, yeah. Albert, I'm starting to sweat.
Point.
All right. Question, got anything for Darren?
Yes, I do. Mr. Woodson, I had a front row seat. I actually grew up in Tucson, so not far from Arizona State, the city before. Who was your favorite team to play? And did you, game plan in your head, just thinking, all right, I'm gonna face this team and I'm gonna stand out. So thank you very much. Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Albert.
Yeah, that's a good question, Albert. I would say this week, I would say the 49ers, because we had, listen, in 92, 93, and the early 90s, they were our match. They were the ones that we evenly matched up with, and they had some big-time players, Steve Youngs and Jerry Rices, and they had a strong defense on the other side as well. Ken Norton ended up going over there in 93. But it was an evenly matched game, and it was that game you knew was going to go down in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We were watching them the entire season on how they were looking, even though they were in the NFC West, and we were doing our thing in the NFC East. But you knew it was going to become that head-to-head battle, and that's the game that you better be on point. You better be on point. You better have the right mentality going in there, and it's going to be a slugfest.
This is 49ers Cowboys. Like you said, this is a big battle. It also reminds me a little bit of Philadelphia. Early when you got there, 92, 93,
Yeah.
it was almost like you had to get over that hump mentally. And I kind of wonder if this team thinks that way about the 49ers. Like, you have to get over the hump because they're the team that's knocked you off.
Absolutely. And it's again, it's not just last year. It was the year before as well. I mean, the 49ers have been a thorn in this team's side. And you can't tell me a guy like Dak Prescott, who's seen this defense multiple times, is not thinking, hey, I got to get over the hump here. And they are. Listen, there's 3 teams. I look at the NFC, and I think there's 3 teams that I can just firmly look at right now and say, okay, this is going to be a game. Philly's going to be a game. San Fran's going to be a definite game. And the Cowboys are a team that matches up with everybody across the league as well.
Yep, those 3 teams, and they have been really for the last couple of years. All right, speaking of Pennsylvania, we're going to go to the call here. Jack in Pennsylvania. Jack, you with us?
Yeah, good morning. How we doing?
How you doing, Jack?
I'm good. So I got to give a shout-out to my brother Josiah. He got me hooked on the break when you and, David Hellman and Derek, were a part of that. So we've been lifelong fans, even though we grew up in PA and New York and Maine a little bit. But I want to share my first memories watching a Cowboys game. It's unfortunately not a good one, but it set me up to be a fan for life.
Okay.
My first memory watching a Cowboys game as a kid was when Romo fumbled the snap on the field goal attempt against the Seahawks.
Okay.
So I want to hear what your first memory of a Cowboys game was.
Jack,
hopefully it's better than mine.
Hold up real quick.
But,
do you know you're on with Darren Woodson? I mean, I'm not sure you're aware of that. Are you on with Darren? Would you have any question? I don't know if you knew that.
Really?
You are because you're on the hold, and I don't know if you knew this. Darren Woodson's on the line right now.
What's up, Jack?
Yeah.
Oh, yo.
So maybe you have a question for Darren as well. I'd hate for you to come back and watch and realize that you did not have this opportunity.
I can answer that question too, Jack, if you want me to.
Yeah. So, Darren, if you want to answer that, then Nick, I have a question for you for the offense. And then, Darren, if you want to answer the question for the defense, that would be
Go for it.
Great. So, offensively, I know we struggled to run the ball against San Francisco in the playoff game. I know a lot of that had to do with Pollard, having that terrible injury. But so I wanted to know, from your point of view, what are some ways we can scheme some things to run the ball more effectively, open things up for Dak on that side of things?
All right.
And defensively, they have speed on offense. San Francisco has Debo, they have Ayuk, they have McCaffrey. So, Darren, what are some things we can do maybe with, Jaron Kearse and specifically scheming him, whether it's maybe him just following Debo wherever he goes or following Ayuk wherever he goes or just helping guys out. And one last thing, yesterday you asked who the most underrated Cowboy player is. And my answer to that right now, he's on the team right now, I love Van Der Esch. And I think he gets a lot of hate that's unwarranted.
All right.
I really think he makes the defense go, and he's really the quarterback for the defense because there's a very noticeable difference in that defense when he's not in the lineup. But I'll hang up.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for taking my call.
Thank you.
Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Jack. All right, let's go to your defense question. What are some of the things they can do to stop this?
Jack just asked a ton of questions. Look, I would say, defensively, you got to start with Christian McCaffrey. You have to stop the run. That's the whole thing. When you look at film and you start putting in the game plan, you can't let the 49ers get you in third and 3, 3rd and 2 consistently. So what does that do? You have to stop McCaffrey. Not only in the running game, but the quick screen game. You make sure he doesn't become the deciding factor. Debo's going to get some plays. Ayuk's going to make some plays for you as well. It's late on those. But there's going to be some guys that they're going to have matchup problems with. But McCaffrey cannot be the guy that consistently beats you. I'm putting it on the quarterback. Make the quarterback beat you in this game.
Do you know who's leading the NFL in yards on first down?
That would be Christian McCaffrey.
49ers.
Probably. Yeah.
7.1 yards.
Yeah, and I can see that.
So it's really hard. Game. It's not just 3rd and 3. It sounds like it's 2nd and 3 a lot of the time. So, yeah. All right, let's go to Travis in San Antonio. Travis, you're the next caller.
How you doing, Nick?
How you doing? You're on with Darren Woodson as well.
Awesome. Well, I just had a couple things. I watched Talking Cowboys yesterday, and Isaiah was talking about The last two meetings, we've been physically outplayed, and I didn't really remember that from this last game, so I went back and watched the whole game, unfortunately. But I went and watched it, and I don't feel like the first game when they came to Dallas, we definitely got outplayed physically. But I went and watched, and I don't feel like that second game in San Fran we got physically outplayed. I mean, we had Brock Purdy with happy feet. He was forcing throws. He was also throwing stuff out of bounds. And so I don't really feel like the second game we got outplayed, is physically at least. So I'm not worried about that. And then I listened to Shoddy's presser yesterday, and he was talking about they do a check down drill in practice like every day. And Mike McCarthy gives Dak kind of a code word to make sure he knows where his check downs are. Mm-hmm. And I went back and watched the game just because I was already watching. I went back and looked at the two picks he had, and the first pick he had, it was like a 15-yard comeback to Gallup where he didn't come back on it, but he had Zeke wide open in the flat. They had a 6-man rush and 5 in coverage. Nobody was guarding Zeke. And it would have been Lenore trying to hit him from a 7-yard head start. And it was 3rd and 9. So that's kind of like one of those plays where you look at it and you go, I know he was trying to make a play on 3rd and 9, but if you take that check down, I'll take Zeke or a running back against a cornerback to get 3rd and 9. And if not, you're punting it. Just play towards that defense. So I think this week, the key to it, I'm glad that Dak is kind of pissed off. I don't mind that, but I do want him to, this week more than any other week, remember where his checkdowns are and just take what San Fran gives you and play to this defense. And it's great. It's an honor to be on with Darren, and I just want to see what you guys think. Have a great week.
Yeah.
These guys are
watching their film.
These guys are focused. I mean, I know if I was a fan and I had a chance to talk to a Hall of Fame safety, because I'm just going to call you that, I would ask a question for Darren Woodson. But these guys are focused on the game.
Man, they are, man. And that's it's a great analysis as far as giving Dak taking what the defense is giving them, the dump offs, or if they're there, take those dump offs. Don't try to stretch it and force the ball in, because you still have a defense behind you. They're going to have to play field position in this game as well. It's just not a game that they're just going to run down, just move the ball down the field. They're going to have some lapses. You got to give San Fran some credit. Bosa's going to be coming off the edge. They got some guys on defense that are going to make plays, but you have to be able to play all 3 phases to win this football game. And defensively, again, to me, it takes you back to the basics, right? If the ball's out in the flat and McCaffrey's out there, you got to get him on the ground. The corner's got to tackle. The linebacker's got to tackle in space. It's just the most basic things that you could do are what's going to help you win that game, because these two teams are, like we said earlier, they're evenly matched teams. So it's going to be, a lot about field position in this game.
You got guys that just want to go get the quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously it starts with Micah. So the screen game seems like it could be really dangerous.
Absolutely.
How do you, as a defensive player, how do you have that aggressiveness to go get the ball, but also the discipline?
Understanding situations. Yeah. Understanding situation. And this is where film watching comes in hand, because, if you can really get the tempo and a really good grasp of when they like to run screens, maybe it's 2nd and 10, or maybe it's when they're backed up first and, they get a penalty and it's 1st and 15. When you can figure that out, and then knowing the quarterback's cadence as well, right? There's a lot of little nuances that you can pick up in watching what they do and what they did last year and what they're doing this season to pick up on things. But it's going to be, again, the game is so evenly matched. I can remember, and I'll take you back, I can remember playing San Francisco, and we used to order in pizza during the playoffs and watch film as an entire defense up until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. These are Super Bowl championship teams, right? Yeah. So we kind of knew what we were getting on Sunday when the game time came up.
Just of the week of the 49ers?
The week of not only, no, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about in the playoffs altogether. In the playoffs, during the regular season, we pick things up and we figure things out as far as watching some extra film. But it's in these big games when you know that these two teams are going to be the playoff teams, and you got to figure out the little nuances about each other, and it's the film work leading up to that game that really sets the pace.
Who pays for that pizza?
The defensive player that makes the most money. I'm serious.
Really?
Serious. Oh yeah, absolutely. So, whoever that is.
That wasn't you. Early on.
No,
right?
no, hell no.
Not
I was
early
like,
on.
but the Ken Nortons of the world, man. There are certain guys that
you pay for pizza.
Dion, absolutely.
Can't see Dion eating pizza.
Oh, he ate pizza. Trust me.
Yeah. Speaking of, you're going to go to Arizona State this week.
This week. Yeah, see
Colorado, Arizona State.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good game. Arizona State, I think, is playing better.
Yeah, they're playing.
Yeah,
okay.
we got to
Look,
watch.
Man,
Go to watch a game.
I'm not how much because I know when I see Deion, he's going to talk a little trash on the field, of course. So I gotta be ready for that.
That's awesome. Can't wait to see the picks from that. All right, back to the phone line. A few more minutes with Darren here. Curtis in Oklahoma. Curtis, what's up? You got it through.
Hey, good morning, man.
Good morning.
So glad to have Darren on the show. That's such an honor for us to get to have access to him and call in and hear what he's got to say. So I appreciate that. I'm so excited for this matchup. As Dak Prescott would say, here we go.
That's right.
And, I've called in and I've said it before about this being an opportunity to help you in the postseason as far as positioning. San Francisco probably won't get a ton of losses. So you could hopefully maybe get somebody to beat them up or possibly beat them in the postseason, try to get home field advantage. But with that being said, man, I think if Tyron Smith is not 100%, I think you sit him. I think it's more important to have him in the Philly games and down the stretch and in the playoffs. So if he's got anything, that he needs to sit for, just go ahead and sit him. Trust in Udoka. Just roll the dice with that. Right. I think you've said before, like something of our team has to be elite, to get where we want to go. And this week, it's got to be the pass rush. I was watching some of the Brock Purdy play a little bit, and he's had 4 fumbles this year. So I think that's about 1 a game. And I've seen a couple times where he threw the ball and kind of like just turns away as he's throwing. And unfortunately, one of them was for, a dime touchdown. So it's not necessarily that, but I don't think he's faced, a pass rush kind of like we got. So that's all I'll got, man. I'll let you guys get back to other callers and stuff like that. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Thank you, Curtis. I will say this. I think he's recovering those fumbles, or at least most of them, because I think they only have 1 turnover in 4 games right now.
Yeah, they're taking care of the football.
They're taking care of the football. But, man.
But, you kind of know what you're getting with a Kyle Shanahan team, right? They like a lot of the play action. They'll screen you here and there. They'll take their shots when they get inside, between the 40s.
Yeah.
A lot of little things, the nuances that you can kind of pick up on with Shanahan. But what they don't do a lot is they don't turn the ball over, man. No. I mean, they know Purdy's going to know where he wants to go with the football.
It's amazing what he's done, and just still a young player. Yeah. That just perfect for their system. All right, let's go to another caller here. Don in San Antonio. Don, you're on with Darren Woodson.
Woody, buddy.
Hey, Don.
I was so sad when you were on the first time and I couldn't get through to say how important you are to me and the Cowboys.
Well, thank you.
I called the show second day, Don. Nick, your show keeps growing. You're smooth.
Thank you.
Got over those jitters you had when it first started.
I have some jitters. Yeah. It was hot. Yeah. Maybe it was just hot out there in Oxnard. I don't know. No.
Well, I'm talking about when you were in the studio and first started taking calls.
Yeah, probably. I feel it feels better. But
the game slowed down, huh?
Yeah, game is slowed down. As Parcells says, knowledge is confidence. Confidence lets you play fast. So I was a little too jittery. I don't know. Might have been those drinks I've been drinking. What's up, Don? What do you got?
Well, a couple things. Number one, I have all the confidence in the world in the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a great year. I agreed with Nate when I heard him yesterday say that this isn't a test; it's a challenge. I didn't think of it that way till he said it, but I agree 100%. The question I have is, as a fan, 26 years ago, I went to the Hall of Fame with my son. He was 12 at the time. And going through there, if our Cowboys were the Steelers or the Bears or the Giants, we would have many more people in the Hall. What can we do as fans to get Woody in there, to get Nate in there, to get Everson in there, the people that are being slighted?
Yeah. That's the problem is there's just not. Thanks, Don. I mean, there's not something the fans can do. I mean, you know this more than anything because you're really close to the process. I mean, it's not a fans thing. It's a Hall of Fame voting committee. And I'll say this. I know you can't say this. Mm-hmm. I'll say this. I think it needs to change. I really do. I think they need to get more people involved. The baseball, I think, has 800 voters, and I think the NFL has like 40 or 50. I think it needs to change. I think they need to have more players involved in the voting process. The players know who Hall of Famers are.
Yeah.
And so it just seems like it's a bias. You got these guys that have to stand up in front of these people, and I don't know. I don't love the process, but I don't think there's anything fans can do.
Yeah, no, I'll recuse myself from that.
Yeah, I mean, and that stuff. and
man.
I think the way it's going, though, I will say this: the trend. There are safeties that have been getting in.
Yeah.
They're getting in, and I think it's in order. Charles Haley had to deal with this with pass rushers.
Yeah.
What, like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
He got in.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get in as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's at some point, and you just said it, Nick. I think they finally recognized that the safety position was an important position, and over time that you start to see guys go in. But again, there's not much the fans can do, man. No. And I guess got to wait it out and figure out, hey, if it's my time or not.
Yeah, well, and there's other things too when people say, well, he's got to get on TV. Got to be visible. Got to show that you're like TV.
I did 13 years.
You did 13 years of that. You got to be a good guy. There's not a better person in the locker room. So no, I don't think that's the case. I think it's the safety position, and I think people are starting to realize how important it was. Because there's guys in the Hall of Fame right now that at safety that I don't think they were as good as you. And you know that.
Well, I don't.
You're not going to say that.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so good. All right, we got to get him out of here. Do you want one more call? Or
let's get another.
All right, we got a guy, Ronnie in New Jersey. Ronnie, you're on with Darren Woodson. You made it through. What's up, Ronnie?
Good morning, Nate. Good morning, Darren. And I just wanted to say I agree 100%. Darren is a Hall of Famer, whether he's in it or not. Hopefully this is the year that he gets in. Because to me, it seems like there's bias towards Cowboys players that were great in the 90s just because we had so many great players. Steelers had a bunch of great players in their era, and they all seem to have gotten in. I don't know what's going on with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So that's great. Question for Darren. I don't know how much he's watching the games or this season or not, but it seems like our defense this year looks a lot like the defense we had back in the 90s. I don't know if he agrees with that or not. But as in mentally tough guys, we were bullies in the 90s. We became bullies in the 90s. It seems that San Francisco has the bullies these past few years. Who in our offense needs to become that mentally tough and just guys that are bullies, like we had Eric Williams for Eric Williams back in the day, and a couple of guys on the offensive line. Who do you see that has to step up and be that type of player for us on offense? Because we have them on defense.
Yeah, well,
Thanks, Ronnie. Great question, Ronnie. That was a really great question.
So you had a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball that were just bullies, man. I know Eric Williams is one who was, known just nasty all the time. But, Nate was a dog, man. Yeah. He was a road grader and didn't back down from anyone, would talk trash the entire game. And then you had Stepp, who was perennial Pro Bowler, and Mark Tuinei, who, would fight anybody, and Gogan coming off the bench, man. There were a lot of guys that just were tough, hard-nosed players. And I think it's kind of the mentality that I see on this defensive side of the ball. Like, you have some dogs on this defense, man. You really do. Like Curse, I'm watching him on the sideline. He's going hard on people. And then you have Deron Bland, who's just a player. And of course Micah and D-Law. Man, they have some guys that have attitudes that I really like. Offensively, I don't want my quarterback to be that guy.
No, he
doesn't need to be that guy, right? I want him to play within himself, but play with confidence, dish the ball out, be a leader. That's what I want in Dak. But then on that offensive front, of course, you got guys that, I'd love to see a lot more Tyron to have a little attitude, pushing guys around a little bit more. But, I like what I see as a whole, holistically as a team. This is a different year. This is a different team. I think their mindset is there. I think they're extremely confident in who they are. And look, man, I think this is going to be a great matchup. I don't think that San Francisco is going to go out there and bully ball them.
No.
That's not happening. Not with this team. This team's going to do, if there's going to be any bullying, this team's going to be the bully.
There was the other day a guy hit somebody out of bounds. It was in one of those NFL games. They hit him out of bounds
last week. San Diego. The LA Chargers.
Yeah, I do it too.
Yeah.
I do it too. Do that to Dak. And
get in the brawl.
Watch Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele. Nice guys in the locker room. They will fight out there. I guarantee you those two guys. And Zach Martin the same. I mean, I'm not saying, hold up. Biotish fought more people than anybody at training camp. Biotish was mad at training camp. So they got guys that are ready to swing if they have to. All right, we're going to take a break. Man, we went a little bit longer than we needed to. I'll be right back, though. Sorry for the guys that didn't get in to talk to Darren, but still stay on the line and keep calling because we'll get them here after the break. Be right back on Cowboys Storyline.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole made with real Hass avocados will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And, of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
Welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. We had Darren Woodson on the line, or actually in studio, not on the line. He was here in studio for 20, 25 minutes or so. Got a chance to talk to a few callers. Feel bad for the ones that are trying to get in, couldn't talk to Darren. He literally had to run. When I say he had to run, he was running off to his he's got a lot of business things going on. He actually said that today is game day for him, for some of the things he's got going on with his business. He said, this is like a game day for me. He named off 2 or 3 things that he had going on, which makes me wonder, that's how great he is, makes me wonder why you would say, yeah, sure, I got 30 minutes, 10 to 10:30, yeah, I'll come on. He really enjoys being on here, enjoys talking to the fans, so that's just a credit to him. We really appreciate him stopping by. So let's get to some more callers. Erwin in Denver. Erwin, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, Nick. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's too bad that I missed Darren Woodson. I just wanted to thank him personally because my daughter was stationed with in the Air Force with one of his family members and became very good, close friends with her. And we became very close with her, too. And my daughter just raved about how nice Darren Woodson was. And she got to hang out, with his son and his family at one of his basketball games and a barbecue and stuff. It was just really, I just really want to thank him.
Well, Erwin, call back. He'll be on, and I'll make sure. I'll get your contact number, and when I figure out when he's coming on again, I'll let you know. We'll make sure you get on. Okay?
Please do, because
we'll do
like
that.
I said, we're really friends, good, close friends with one of his family members.
Okay.
And we're in close contact with her all the time. So.
All right.
So I appreciate that, Nick.
Yeah. You got a question for the game? What's on your mind?
Question. I was just wondering. I'm so sad that I missed him. But anyways, how important do you think it is for us to get that push in the middle, our defensive tackles and stuff, to just put that pressure on Purdy this weekend?
Yeah, that's huge. That's always big. Yeah, thanks, Erwin, for the call. I think that defensive line, that front, when Hankins is doing his thing, Osa, Gallimore, Mozzie, when they are controlling that middle, and you could say this about a lot of football teams on all levels, but when you are controlling that line of scrimmage right there and forcing them to do other things, because if you don't force them to do anything different, they're going to run the ball right down the middle, right down your throat, and you can't do anything about it. Nothing more demoralizing than that. So that's where it starts. It always starts in the trenches. It's a cliche because that's true. That's where it begins. So I think it's very, very important to kind of make sure that you can get after Purdy. He's going to try to dump it off to McCaffrey, try to make plays. With Debo going side to side, that's what makes it so tough. It's that they actually use the width of the field more than a lot of teams do. So they really stretch you in that way. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Kurt in Arkansas. Kurt, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Is Darren still there?
He is not. He had to run off.
Oh, that sucks. I think it's a chip he hasn't gotten in the Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah, it definitely. We talked about that. He tried to. He was biting his tongue on that one. He knows the process, but I can say it. It sucks because the Cowboys they've been around 65 years. He's the all-time leading tackler. I mean, somebody's making the tackles. Nobody's made more than him.
That's right. Also, I hope the Cowboys go in there playing mad Sunday.
Yeah. Well,
I've been a fan since 1970 when they appeared in their first Super Bowl.
Oh, well, I don't know about playing mad. I don't know if that's good or not. Sometimes you don't focus on what you need to do. You gotta have controlled chaos. That's what's got to be.
Well, I don't mean losing focus mad. I just think mean bullying mad.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think last couple years have bothered him, and especially the way that last game went down, what San Francisco did before the game and all that crap with the kicker. They haven't forgotten that. And those guys are still there. They're still on the team. So, problem is the two guys are their best two players, two of their best players in Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel. Those are the ones that were down there messing with Maher and the kicking, snap, and all that kind of stuff. There will be something in pregame that will go down. I can promise you that. There will be some John. There'll be some fighting.
I hope Tolbert goes down and tries to decapitate one of their returners.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for the call, Kurt. Appreciate that. Tolbert as your headhunter. Who would have thought that one? Who would have thought he's the guy that wants to go down? But he had a great play in the game, and everybody has a role. Everybody has a role in this game, and it's going to be plays like that will determine the difference. Sometimes it's the guys you don't even think about. You don't expect Jalen Tolbert as your gunner to go down and make plays like that. Last year, it was same position. It was Kelvin Joseph went down there and forced a fumble. They got the ball. Imagine this. Cowboys had some red zone issues, couldn't score, had to kick a field goal. That could have changed the whole game there. All right, Billy in Destin, Florida is our next caller. Billy, what's up?
Yeah, hey, I'm a first-time caller.
All right. Appreciate that.
I saw Randy Gregory got cut today by Denver.
I saw that just now. Yeah,
I got a two-part question. Can he still play? And would Jerry be interested in maybe re-signing him?
Well, here's the question to that. Why did he get cut? That's always the question. Same with La'el Collins when that all happened too. Why did he get cut? It was last year they brought him in, gave him a lot of money. Obviously, different coaching staff now. I understand that. Sean Payton now, different staff, maybe trying to go a different direction. But what's the reason? I mean, is it football related? Is it he's been in the league now. It's almost 9 years, 10 years. Hadn't played 9, 10 years worth of football. We know that, but I don't know all the circumstances behind it, and I don't want to speculate. But he can rush the passer. He's a freak of a player. It's just are there other issues going on? I don't know this. I don't. It seems suspicious that you would just cut him like that unless he's injury prone or whatever. I don't know all the details. It's not a position of need. I mean, Dante Fowler and Sam Williams are trying to get on the field, and make plays. So I don't know. You always will take great football players, but that one is one where that doesn't seem like that would make sense because, again, I don't know why he was cut. All right, let's go to another question here. This is a text question from Denver, Colorado. He said his favorite old school player, Troy Hambrick. Wow, that's bringing it back right there. And also his question, what offensive positions are the Cowboys favored better than the 49ers? That's a tough one. I mean, receiver, I think they have better receivers, but you wouldn't say that about the tight end. You wouldn't say that about the running back. Offensive line, I don't think you would say that. I think it's close, but it just also depends on some injuries, and the Niners are going through some injuries. And quarterback, let's not even go there because Purdy is playing at a level that's perfect for what the 49ers are doing. I don't think if you rank all the quarterbacks, I don't know if you put Purdy over Dak and all that, but that doesn't matter. That's why those rankings are ridiculous to me, because what Purdy is doing for the 49ers is as good as what anybody's doing for the other teams other than, maybe Mahomes in Kansas City, but he's just absolutely perfect for what they're trying to do. Yeah, I mean, old school player Troy Hambrick. I mean, got some funny stories about Troy. I don't know if I could share them on the air, but he was just a different guy. He was interesting, and him and his brother Darren Hambrick. But yeah, big old strong running back. Replaced Emmett, and in 2003, and almost had 1,000 yards. I mean, he was productive, because he was a big guy that could move. One game against Washington, he had like 175 yards in that game against the Redskins at the time. All right, let's go to the caller, Emilio in California.
Hey, Chris, I have two questions. One for the defense and one for the offense. Defensively, do you believe our Kurtz will be able to hit Debo pretty well to where he's not going to want to go up the middle?
Uh-huh.
And offensively, do you believe that Gallup is finally coming in on his own? And because the last two games I've seen him play better.
Yeah. Is this for me, or did you want Chris to answer this?
Oh, for you.
You called me Chris, so no.
I apologize.
I'm joking. Chris is our producer that answers the calls.
Producer, sorry.
He can answer it though. He can answer. He can tell you if Gallup's getting ready, or he's down there on the field. He almost got ran over by Mike Gesicki the other day. Good job, kind of getting out of the way there. No, he's got a great view, and he's been doing this as long as me. So yeah, Debo and Gallup. Thanks for the call, Emilio. I'm just giving you a hard time. Debo he's just a freak. I mean, he's dealing with some injuries now. I think knee and ribs that he got hurt in week 3. Played some last week. He's day to day. Didn't have a great game, but I mean, I'm sure once that game kind of got out of hand, the 49ers probably, unlike the Cowboys, they pulled some of their guys. I'm joking. They pulled Zach Martin last week. A lot of people are giving the Cowboys some crap for not pulling Micah Parsons there. That's probably easier said than done to get him off the field. He's trying to get sacks, but yeah, Debo didn't do a whole lot. He will. He'll be ready, I'm sure, for this game. Michael Gallup last couple games has been productive, and that's how we kind of thought would happen. Let's see how teams go and try to cover CD. They're not going to let CD just kill them. And so because of that, that's why you get 3 receivers that can play, because you can't just cover everyone. And if Ferguson continues to make the catches over the middle and get first downs, that's going to open up guys like Cooks and Gallup even more, because those guys in the middle of the field, I mean, that's what Ferguson's doing. He's doing what Dalton Schultz was doing the last couple of years, but he actually a little bit better because he's down the field a little bit more. Now, Schultz was, sure-handed, and I thought he made some tough grabs that you'd like to see Schoonmaker make, and Hendershot and Ferguson. They've all had some drops a little bit, but really starting to see the light bulbs coming on, I think, for Ferguson, for sure. All right, a text question from Atlanta. This is Zach from Atlanta. Can you talk about development of second-year players, Damone Clark and Sam Williams? Well, Damone Clark is playing more. He's starting at linebacker. He's learning from Leighton. He hasn't made those wow plays that you thought that he would make, but I think that he's fine. I mean, he's ahead of schedule from where he was last year with that injury. So I think Damone is on track to be a really good player. I think the game will slow down more for him, and when it does, he'll speed up. Sam Williams, probably the same type of thing. His issue is he's got a lot of guys ahead of him. He's just got guys, ahead of him because he can rush the passer, and they have him in there rushing the passer. But to get on the field and play more at that position, you have to be a 3-down player. You have to, you have to understand run defense, fits, and all that stuff, containment. So he's just got guys. I mean, he's battling with Dante Fowler, the 3rd overall pick in the draft in 2015. That he's trying to get on the field too, and Dorrance Armstrong needs snaps, and Tank, and of course Micah. So that's kind of the issue with Sam. But I think they like him a lot. All right, another caller, Earl from Richmond, Virginia. Earl, what's up? Earl, are you with us?
Dude, Jonathan.
All right, how about Jonathan in Virginia? Jonathan, what's up?
What's going on, Nick? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I have a couple questions to ask. Well, the first thing is we matched up with the Niners recently in the last couple of years. Do you have any nuggets or anything that comes to mind in the last couple of times that we faced them that you want to bring to light? Just interested in that. And then the second point I had is for the Tony Pollard, our running back. It seems to me he's not as efficient as he was last year. I mean, he would get like 10 carries and have like over 100 yards. Do you feel as though they're using him in the same way? And is that kind of the thought process that we should have had for like Zeke when he was here, to where the bell cow, not everyone can be Derrick Henry, but the bell cow running back kind of has to get some of those carries where you're not going to get much just to keep him honest? Like, is there anything you want to say to his effectiveness?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let's start with that one with Pollard. Yeah, this is part of the deal. Okay, this is it. When you want to make him the lead back, that means he takes the hits, and he's on the field more. He's also taking more hits. Don't just look at his carries and say that's how many touches he has. He's also getting hit by blitzing linebackers and safeties and taking more of that the pass protection collisions as well. So he's not a big guy, and we know this. Everyone can see this situation with Pollard, and so it's. Your average is going to go down when it's 3rd and 1 and you get 2 yards. Great job. You did exactly what we want you to do. You moved the sticks. Your average got hurt as well. That's what happened. Everyone was looking at Zeke's average all the time going, well, it's not the same as Pollard. Well, of course not, because he's having to do the dirty work. And that's what Pollard's having to do. He's having to do the dirty work. And what it does, it knocks your numbers down a little bit. He's got a lot more carries. I don't know if he's leading the NFL still. He was last week. I don't know if he's leading the NFL anymore, but he's right up there in touches and with in the entire NFL. That's not something he's used to. So you can say that he's not as effective. He's very effective. It's just that he's doing it more, and you're seeing his numbers kind of go down a little bit. But I think that's the nature of it. As for nuggets on the 49ers and all that, I mean, I just think that they've been better. The last couple of years, they came in, they walked into AT&T Stadium with the boom box 2 years ago. They hit the Cowboys right in the mouth. They were not intimidated at all. They didn't care about the Cowboys' record. They didn't care. They just snuck into the playoffs the week before. They didn't care. They walked into AT&T Stadium. They took it right to the Cowboys, and it took Dallas a long time to kind of wake up and finally figure out that this was a playoff game. And they got beat. They got pushed around. That second game, they didn't. The second game to me was the fact that one team had a kicker that they trusted. The other team had a kicker that nobody trusted, and that even himself. That was the problem. Robbie Gould was hitting 40, 50-yarders. Maher couldn't hit an extra point. Now, he did hit a couple later in the game, very short field goals, but that was really more of a product of the Cowboys not scoring in the red zone. I just thought it came down, they didn't have enough playmakers. But that pregame stuff, that was a problem. And the 49ers tried to, get in Maher's head and all that. And I thought that was Bush League that they did. And, they did it on a time when a lot of the Cowboy players were not on the field. It's usually just kickers and return specialists. Trent Williams went out there. Debo went out there to try to send a message. I'd like to see. I want to see if they do that again. I want to see if something like that happens. I know it pissed off a lot of the Cowboy players, but it was kind of too late at that point. But trust me, there will be some issues on the field there before the game. There's going to be some fireworks probably long before the kickoff. If we can get one more caller, we can. Earl in Richmond, Virginia. Earl, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing, man?
Good.
I love your show, and I love your insight on the Cowboys and the games.
Thank you. Appreciate
that. No doubt. My question is that everybody is saying how great the 49ers are. They're a good team. They're not a great team, and they're not unbeatable. So if the Cowboys do what they do best, they will win, and it's time for them to win.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the Cowboys do best?
They do best is defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what it looks like. They got to be focused, though. They got to be focused.
They got to be focused. I do agree with you. They are a defensive. They're turning into a defensive team. Good offense. Very good offense. Very good offense. The red zone issue will be straightened out because San Francisco is not unbeatable.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think anyone in this league and the way it's set up is ever going to be unbeatable. I mean, I think that's the nature of the league. But I do think that they are. I mean, they look great right now. I don't know if you want to call anyone good, great, whatever. I think that the Cowboys have been great at times this year. The 49ers have been great. And, when it comes to this matchup, we talked about being focused. I mean, if you're not focused for this game, then you will never be focused. I mean, you're just not going to be. So they'll be ready to go. It's going to be physical. It's going to be emotional. And just who can kind of withstand that. I mean, I think the crowd will be ridiculous. I mean, the Cowboy fans will be there. This is a regular season game. This has been on the schedule for a long time. The Cowboy fans will be out there. That only intensifies matchups like this. So it'll be emotional in the stands. It'll be emotional on the field, before the game, during the game, all that. Who can handle that? Who withstands the pressure? Who can focus in on all of these outside talk, all this, this is a playoff type matchup, and who can actually go in there and get the job done. And we'll find out. This is the greatest challenge the Cowboys have faced, all year. We'll see if they're ready for it. But guess what? This is the best challenge that the 49ers have faced as well. I mean, and they know that. I mean, there's nothing, there's no hiding that. The Cowboys are a really good football team. The 49ers right now look a little bit better. But that could change come Monday. I can't wait to talk about it. We'll talk about it in the next couple days as well. For Darren Woodson, thank you so much for coming by early on. He said he can do it on a lot of Wednesdays, so maybe Witty Wednesday can be a thing. Thank you for Chris Beam running the board. I'm Nick Eatman. We will see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?